Well, joining us now, Adar Poonawalla of the Serum Institute. Covishield has been cleared after a long time. It was cleared in the United Kingdom some days back. It's now been cleared in India. And this is huge news for our country because these drugs will end up saving lives. That's the bottom line over here. Adar, thanks very much for being with us. How many vials at this stage do you have ready to be disseminated?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a huge relief now that we finally got the approval and we've got more than 50 million doses available. As soon as the government of India lets us know where they want it shipped out and, certain other formalities have to be processed and a signed contract has to be there. In this week, we're expecting all these formalities to be completed in the next 7 to 10 days and a very quick rollout after that. And we're hoping to reach 70 to 80 million doses of actual supply in the next 1 month, maybe a month and a half at the most.
How easy or how difficult will it be for you to step up manufacture from here onwards, assuming the paperwork is done, right? And you need to obviously step up manufacture. How fast and at what rate?
So as I said, after March, we can double our monthly output, but it all depends on the easing of restrictions that the government of India puts on us, and we'll have to go by their guidance and wisdom, because they have said that we cannot export the vaccine or give it to the private market. These have been our discussions at the moment, and I respect that because they want to give it to the vulnerable people. But that also means that any common citizen today who wants to buy it or get access to it, or a corporate who wants to vaccinate their entire workforce to bring them back safely to work, can't do so until the government has got enough doses to vaccinate the vulnerable healthcare workers, the elderly, etc., etc.
Let's talk a little bit about the drug itself, because that's the bottom line over here. This is an extensive trial which has taken place outside the country. There are trials also which have been taking place here in India. As far as data from the Indian trials is concerned, how is that an ongoing process? How will that add to the volume of data that exists?
Well, it was only a bridging study which will add to the immunogenicity and long-term safety profile of the product. The main point here is that there are only 3 vaccines in the world who have proven efficacy, and which you need to do in 20 to 25,000 people. And even there are other Indian companies doing that at the moment currently, and we'll wait to see their result and score. But it's Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca, Oxford. These are the only 3 vaccines which have proven to work. Everything else has proven to be safe, just like water is safe. But the efficacy, to know how well a vaccine works, 70%, 90%, 80%, has only been proven in these 3 vaccines. So this is the data that we got by doing all these global trials. And the Indian study was just a bridging study to demonstrate further safety and immunogenicity in Indian people.
So in a statement, when was it? Yesterday, the government said, that after detailed deliberations, subject expert committee has recommended for the grant of permission for restricted use in emergency situations subject to certain regulatory conditions. That was for the SII drug. What are these certain conditions or conditionalities?
The only condition is that we can't give it and sell it in the private market or export it. There's no more data to be given. It's only a condition on supplying, as I understand it, only to the government of India, so that they can give it to the poor, to the needy, to the most vulnerable first, and then everyone else gets it, subsequently in that kind of priority.
Is there any clarity other on who pays for it? Who pays for the drug?
Yeah, so we're giving it at a very special price to the government of India at 200 rupees for the first 100 million doses. Then there will be tendering, and then different prices will be available. But let me just say, whatever we give to the government, they're going to provide it free to the people of India. And when we subsequently sell it in the private market, the MRP is going to be 1,000 rupees, which means that, the company gets 500-600 rupees. The distributors, doctors and others in the normal distribution channels get a little margin there and do it that way. But the final customer pays 1,000 rupees per shot.
Right, so 2,000 for the full dose. And if it enters the private market, when it enters the private market, so lots of riders over there. For you personally, it's a huge day. I mean, you'd guessed at one level, it was an educated guess several months back that, look, this is the drug that's going to work. You had the option of going with others. You have tied up with others, but you had really sort of guessed. I won't use the word bet because I'm not sure you're a betting man, but you'd guessed big at one level or other on this, and that seems to have worked out. What does today mean for you and for your company, all the people who are churning out these vials?
No, absolutely. All my production staff, everyone here, my clinical staff, my regulatory staff, everybody here is rejoicing on the fact that all their effort and working till late hours in the night have paid off finally, because we did take that risk very early on. A lot of critics said that, we're doing something which is perhaps foolish or too risky, and, what would happen if these vaccines don't work out and you've spent all this money. We were raising capital also at that time, which then we deferred because we got a big investment and advance commitment from the Gates Foundation and Gavi. So, getting the funding together also to do this, where we've spent more than $600-700 million across multiple candidates on the OPEX, the CAPEX, so it's all come together, at least for this first product, and hopefully for all the other vaccines also that we've partnered with Novavax and so many other great companies. So we're now looking forward to launching, even the next vaccines. But of course, the first challenge now, the real challenge, is rolling out large volumes across the country and the world, which we've all been waiting for in 2020, to move on to a new year, which will be positive, and, we can all rejoice and see that this pandemic is slowly getting behind us.
So a quick couple of last questions. The efficacy of the drug, right? It's about 70% plus in a 2-dose regimen. But the expectation, this is what AstraZeneca's leadership said a few days back, was that it would match Pfizer and Moderna. So when would we know that? Well,
let me clarify that. In one dosage regime, we are 90%.
Correct.
And that's what we're recommending to the government, that if you just wait for 2.5 to 3 months between dose 1 and dose 2, your efficacy is 90%. That's been proven by AstraZeneca, and they're going to make that very public soon. That's also got another plus point, that you can cover that many more people and protect them that much earlier. Imagine if you just have to give the first dose, right? 50 million doses per month in the country to everybody. You're protecting that many more people that much faster. So that's also another advantage.
All right, Aadar. Well, it's a huge day. Hopefully, all the paperwork is done soon so that this can start rolling out to the 30 crore people first who really need it desperately fast. And then, of course, to the millions of others who need it as desperately fast. Thanks very much, Aadar, for being with us. Thank you very much indeed.